Hello and welcome to this video. I thought today I would do a pick a card reading around what do I need to focus on, what is a situation in my life that requires my attention, and the aim with these videos is just to help support you in connecting to your intuition and raising your awareness to make decisions that are right by you. Keep in mind these videos are timeless, so you can come back to them at any time, and I really encourage you just to take what resonates and to leave the rest. So before I get started, I just want to let you know I have a Facebook page called Affirmations with Andi, and on my Facebook page I upload content with free affirmations, weekly readings, energy checks, so feel free to have a look at that after this video. Also, I noticed the left candle keeps crackling, which is very eerie, so I feel like it's kind of my prompt to get started. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome to pile number one for those who picked this beautiful stone. I feel like there is a lot of chaos in my environment that's interrupting my ability to film this video. So it's storming outside, my cat is very restless, and I feel like in a weird way it kind of connects with this energy of feeling restless, of wanting to get moving, perhaps not even knowing where to start, or feeling a bit of inner turmoil, if anything. So with this energy, the search, for some, this might resonate, feeling lost, confused, lonely. But for most, I feel like this is all around getting to a point where you've accomplished a lot, and you might not really be basking or acknowledging how much you've achieved. You might not be focusing on your strengths. And for others, this could also indicate you've gotten to a point where you've achieved everything that you wanted, but you don't know what you want next. You don't know where to go. You're not sure what path to take. And you might just feel a bit lost in this decision because you know it's one that you really need to make on your own. So I think the energy that I am getting with these cards is all around putting the energy back on yourself to acknowledge what you've achieved so far, and maybe just opening your mind to really consider alternative opportunities, alternative options that perhaps you haven't even thought of, to really expand your personal development, your self-growth, and even teach yourself about being a bit more compassionate to yourself and being a bit more gentle, because there's all this light-hearted energy with these cards, but at the same time I feel like the only heaviness is with this card over here. So even just focusing in the middle of the sun is like the happiest card in the tarot deck. It's all around tapping into a sense of youthfulness, lightheartedness, playfulness, almost like this energy of a child. The child is sitting on the horse, they're basking in the sunshine, the flowers are blooming. It's a very liberating and free energy. And I feel like with your current position, while the sun is in the background, I feel like this woman is not even facing it. She's not even really acknowledging that she's actually physically shining under the sun, but instead she's focusing on the leaves that are around her, the things that she's accomplished, the way that she's grown, whether that is she's grown situations, like she has benefited from external situations like money, career stability, like community support, her relationships, but at the same time, this is all around self-growth. Like she has grown so much in these situations, but she's not really embracing it or embodying that moving forward. And I feel like there is so much to be gained here, but as cliche as it sounds, I feel like you're your own worst enemy. And this energy is just a reminder to really take a step back and to bask in your achievements, to feel really proud of yourself for how far you've come, because I feel like as you take steps in the next direction towards new areas that you want to achieve, this is going to really enhance your sense of self, and both even just your intuition around making decisions that are right for you, being able to really tap into your emotions and reflect on what has worked and what hasn't to help guide you in the right direction. And I feel like even the sense of suffering that, this woman might be really tapping into, whether that is perceived failures, and I say perceived because there is no sense of failure present in these cards, but it's something that she could be very self-critical of. She could be self-critical of her growth, the lack of, or what areas are growing in her life. And I think it's just important to really take a step back and to really honor your emotions during this time as well. Because the impression I get with devotion, I feel like once she really acknowledges her, her achievements, she really taps into a sense of warmth, she'll be able to devote her time and energy into things moving forward. And it's almost like this sense of this person, whether this is yourself, whether this is someone that you're viewing this reading for, they might be really stuck in the present moment, and that might be stopping them from like really propelling forward and growing and expanding. And I feel like this person, when they do commit to a situation, when they do put their energy forward, they go all or nothing, which could again lead to a sense of disappointment when they don't feel like that growth matches up with what they're wanting. But please take this video as a very kind reminder to really be gentle with yourself and to acknowledge all that you've achieved, and to really open your mind to new possibilities. Maybe connect with your intuition. Take some time out to really meditate, to self-reflect on what you've achieved, to perhaps even just weigh up what has worked out, what hasn't worked out for you, what feels right in your heart. Because I feel like that will invoke an inner wisdom to move forward and to expand your future prospects. So thank you so much, Group 1, for watching this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it and that it's helped you in some way. Thank you. Welcome, pile number 2. This reading is for those who picked this very weird but wonderful looking stone. So getting started with this reading, there is a lot of emphasis here around something that has ended, a sense of closure, something really coming to completion where you're met with sadness around something that has ended, but that anxiety might also translate into starting a new beginning itself. And with the 9 of Wands, sorry, I had a mind blank. With the 9 of Wands, this anticipation really arises from your past experiences. You have this wealth of knowledge, you have this wealth of passion, you have all these wands around you, and these wands could represent, as I mentioned, past experiences, but it could also represent the opinions of others, perhaps a fear around what other people will think or say. And maybe in the past, some of those experiences have been bad. You have been wounded. It has taken a toll on you. But with this energy, it's all around a breath of fresh air. It's all around going public with a big decision. It's all around feeling confident and joyful in both yourself and your own actions, because I feel like there is a lot of passion, a lot of this anxiety is focused on wanting to move forward. It's around wanting to take action, wanting to get started. But maybe these negative experiences have weighed heavy on your mind. And I feel like maybe your current stance is all around protecting yourself. Maybe the barriers could be around self-sabotaging. It could be around being prideful, as a way to really protect yourself from feeling hurt or disappointed in the way you have previously. And I guess I really want to encourage you just to be courageous with moving forward and really basking in this passion and fire that you have, because I feel like it can really propel you forward if you choose to use it in the right way. Whereas I feel like if you choose to stay stagnant and you choose not to move past this difficult and painful closure, all that energy will just well up inside of you with nowhere to go. And I feel like even with this meaning of this card, it's all around a destruction and a rebirth. These things go hand in hand. And I think sometimes we get caught up with endings and I guess the heartache that it can bring, and a sense of not feeling like you can move on, or feeling like you've just encountered this big loss, when a lot of the time when one door closes, another one opens. I think that's what the saying is. So I feel like a lot of this stagnant energy has really cleared out, and it's making room for new energies for you to really pursue. And I think you already know this with the inner truth, but I feel like there's a false sense of ego with maybe what other people have really told you or painted a certain picture around what this new action will look like moving forward. Maybe this new action is around you putting yourself out there and taking a big risk in an area of your life that you haven't really pursued. For some, this could even be moving on from a relationship, whether that's professionally or personally, that no longer serves you. And maybe previously you've been very attached to this relationship. Maybe a lot of people around you have had really strong opinions, but now you're choosing to be independent, to go public, to really embrace a sense of freedom. And you might worry about how that could impact others. The flame just sparked. So I feel like that's affirmation that I'm on the right track, maybe. But yeah, I do sense there's a lot of joy to be had, and I feel like this is a very brave move to be making in itself. So I really commend you for your bravery, especially with what you're moving away from. I know it can be really hard sometimes, especially when you're very comfortable or you feel very safe, whether that's in a relationship or a situation that you thought was part of your identity or that really was going to serve you. But yeah, I definitely wish you all the best with taking this risk, because I feel like you already know it's going to pay off deep down. And I feel like, if anything, it's just been overdue. So thank you so much, pile number 2, for picking this pile. And I hope that this video has helped you. And thank you again for watching. Welcome pile number 3 for those who picked this very shiny and delicate looking stone. So going straight into your reading, at the center of your reading, it is very clear that there is a huge sense of injustice, feeling like a situation hasn't been resolved, that it's lingering. Perhaps there was an outcome, a physical outcome of the situation, but it felt unfair. Or maybe there were other people in the situation who the outcome benefited, and maybe you felt like it should have benefited you a bit more. With this energy, there is emphasis on the past. And while for some the situation might have happened a very long time ago, for others this could be quite recent, but the energy itself could remind you of a previous unpleasant past situation where things didn't work out in the way that you wanted. Maybe there is a sense of past hurt, or it really brings up past emotions that are very strong around injustice and inequality even. Maybe feeling like all people should have been treated equally in the situation and that didn't really happen. Or maybe this also relates to the truth, feeling like some people in the situation were dishonest, or the outcome was very dishonest in itself. Maybe you didn't feel like you could even speak your truth in the situation. Maybe you felt quite restricted. And that can also bring you back to times in your life where perhaps that's been really difficult for you to open up and to really make your voice heard. And as you've probably noticed, the rain is pouring down in the background. A storm has started, which is trying to muffle my voice, and I feel like in a way is really affirming the idea that this situation has really muffled your voice and really restricted you in a lot of ways. And I feel like I gotta close the door, but a part of me just wants to keep going. So I hope that you can hear me over the rain. I'm sorry if I'm yelling. Speaking of rain, speaking of water, I feel like this situation evokes a lot of strong emotions. You might feel like it is keeping you up at night, it is disrupting you from moving forward. Maybe there's a sense of even a grudge with other people involved in this situation, but regardless, your emotions are strong. You have a very strong feeling around how you feel like this situation, should have played out. And with these cards in particular, I think there is an idea that you really still want things to change. You wanted there to be a favorable outcome. You had this idea, this idea painted around what the situation ideally would have looked like, how you would have wanted it to play out, and it just hasn't happened. And there could be a sense of, I get the impression that for some it could be a lack of acceptance around what has happened, feeling like you can't really move on because emotionally things are still brewing. Whereas for others, it's almost like the ideal outcome is even moving on from the situation and really reworking and really overcoming prior ways that you've dealt with the situation. Maybe before you've held grudges, or in the past situations haven't gone your way and you've carried it into your future. Whereas now I feel like you want to rewrite history in a way. And because with this card, it's all around traditional learning, communication, contemplation. For some, you might be even consulting someone outside of yourself or this situation to get a bit of guidance or advice on how to proceed or how to move forward. But for others, it's learning from this experience. It's around really initiating, whether that is communication or action, to emotionally overcome this. Because I don't feel like the goal here is necessarily around, it's weird because on one hand, some people might be really fixated on trying to resolve this situation, even though the impression I get, it's already over, it's already dealt with, you can't rewrite it. And that's where I feel like this energy is a bit confusing, because I don't feel like you're now trying to get a tangible goal, but you're almost like trying to cope with emotionally resolving this situation within yourself, like the impacts. Maybe you want to communicate with this person or people in this situation to find a sense of inner closure. Maybe you want to consult people in the situation for feedback of what you can do differently next time, how you can learn from this experience. But I feel like there's an initiation here in changing a way that you've dealt with things before. And I feel like despite the situation weighing heavy on your emotions, I feel like it hasn't swayed you from, or really, it hasn't stopped you from wanting to look for more or to keep going, when in the past maybe this has led you to feel stuck. So yeah, a lot to learn from the situation, and understandably, these kinds of positions where you have other people involved or things already dealt with, that can be very difficult to process. So I do understand that, but yeah, I really encourage you just to really reflect on what you can learn from the situation. Maybe for some that could involve communicating with the people involved or the person involved in the situation to seek closure, whereas for others it's around getting feedback, whether that's from the situation or people from outside the situation, to help you really resolve and change the way you navigate injustice moving forward. So thank you again for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope it's helped.